Hello dear viewers, Maverick here, welcome to the Music of Maverick channel, and today I'd like to talk about what anime I'm watching for the fall 2019 season. Those of you who have been my longtime subscribers and whatnot, well, you guys know the drill already, right? And for those of you who are recent subscribers, or you just happened to stumble upon this video by chance, well, welcome aboard, right? In this video, I'll be talking about first the anime that are carried over from last season, those that are on their second core or second half, as well as any new works that I want to watch from this season, right? And beyond those, I'll also have a sort of short list of anime that I'm kind of intrigued by, but I'm not quite convinced that they will make my schedule yet, in which case you guys can maybe make a case as to why it would be a good idea or a bad idea to add those titles into my schedule. Beyond those seasonal anime, I'm also going to be watching a select few non-seasonal anime, anime that are in my to-watch list, my backlog, that I need to get through, and one of them, carrying on from my experiment from last season, will be decided by you guys through voting. So, that is a chance to influence what I'm watching for next season, so do check that out as well. Now, before we get into the actual titles for the next season, let me just preface this by saying that next season is actually kind of awkward for me, because there are a lot of sequels, and most of those are sequels that I actually, well, I haven't watched the previous works yet, so I can't really just jump into it directly, right? And that includes nearly all the sequels through next season. So if you're looking here for some Sword Art Online, if you're looking here for My Hero Academia, or Psycho Pass or whatnot, or Food Wars, sorry, I'm not going to be watching those, okay? I know those are the popular titles for next season, but what can you do, right? If you guys do want to watch those, or watch another reviewer who does those works, my good friend Mad Love of Culture, he gave me a shout out in his video, and I feel obliged to shout him out as well. He is a bit more of a hype reactor than me, so if that's something that you guys are looking for, feel free to go there as well. So, without further ado, let's just get into the titles of next season. So, starting it off is, of course, Dr. Stone, right? I think in my main series, in my Dr. Stone series, I've already talked at length as to how I really like this manga. It's one of my favorite mangas to come out in recent years. The adaptation is doing a decent job so far, but really, I'm just waiting for the story to start ramping up, because it's not going to ramp up until maybe 3 episodes later, and then it's gonna go like a rocket, right? So I am definitely looking forward to that, and I am definitely going to be continuing to watching it in the next season. Next up would be Vinland Saga, right? So this one I almost didn't watch, and I am glad that I did, because it's good, right? It's just good. I love the... First of all, I'm a history buff, or actually I should say a history nerd of some sort. It's actually also my field of study as well when I was in college, although I'm not really doing anything in regards to that nowadays. But I love, gleaming through all the historical references or whatnot, and having more in-depth discussions as to, in regards to all these historical references. The story itself, it's okay, right? I mean, I definitely don't hate it. Well, first of all, I really do like the character Askeladd, right? And I do want to learn more about what they are going to do next. The artwork is also gorgeous, the fight scenes are badass as well, really just an overall good rounder. And finally, rounding out the last of the leftover works from last season would be Fire Force. Now, I'm actually still not entirely convinced that the story is going to be something that I like. It has been picking up, granted that. This latest arc with Benimaru is shaping up to be something quite intriguing to me, and of course the action scenes in here are always stellar. Well, mostly stellar, sorry. They're mostly stellar, and on par with some of the best, action scenes that there are. It's just that the characters and the story itself, but it does... I really like the world that has been built here, so hopefully it will continue to impress me in the future. So, we start off our list of new anime with Assassin's Pride. This one is also probably one of the more anticipated ones in terms of new anime for next season. Personally, I'm not that convinced of this work. First of all, I did look up its original adaptation. It's being adapted from a light novel. It's not really held in high regard. Also, the studio that's doing it, EMT Squared, is kind of hit and miss for me, to be honest. And looking at the character designs, I'm sure people are going to be making some sort of online comparisons already, whether that's fair or not, right? And the director of this is also, I don't feel like he's quite proven himself in terms of his works and quality. With that being said, however, eventually a few things did win me over, and I decided to give this a shot. Now, first of all, would be, looking at the promotional video itself, it seems that the animation, there's nothing to worry about the animation, right? The action scenes also seem to be quite hyped, quite well animated as well, so that's something to look forward to there. Second of all, it actually features a lot of my favorite seiyus, such as Ayaneru, so, well, I gotta support this work somehow, right? At least give it a shot. And lastly, and probably the ultimate deciding factor for this, is I actually went and looked up a little bit more in regards to the light novel. And it appears that this author in particular, he actually does a lot of world building. And, a lot of these different kinds of systems and whatnot for this world. It has rankings and whatnot, and so on and so forth, different classes, different power levels, and that is something that I really like to watch. So, that is definitely something that I am looking forward to, and hopefully this work is not going to disappoint. So, I will be watching Assassin's Pride in the next season. Next on the list, we have No Guns Life. Now, similar to Assassin's Pride before it, the original work that this adaptation is based on is not that critically acclaimed. Though in No Guns Life case, it's being adapted from a manga instead. With that being said, however, the animation studio that's producing this is Madhouse. The same Madhouse that brought us One Punch Man and Overlord and various other goodies from the anime world, right? And more importantly, just looking at the promotional video, right? Instantly, like 5 seconds in, I was like, this is giving me a strong Ghost in the Shell vibe. You got this dark, gritty, future, cyberpunk kind of world. The entire aesthetic, the atmosphere, the background music and all, it all comes together to bring that type of mood and vibe. Now, is it gonna live up to that? It's way too early to tell, right? But with that being said, I do think that this aesthetic is something that's drawing me into it instantly. The cast list is also great as well. The CVs for it are, it's still a solid cast list. And perhaps to me, the cherry on top would be the person who's composing the music for this. That person is Kawai Kenji, the same person who composed the music for the Ghost in the Shell series. And I believe Overlord and some other various work. I think Rama as well. But yeah, I am definitely hyped for this one. Next up on the list is Fairy Gone Season 1 Part 2. Now, for some of you here who actually have watched Fairy Gone, you're probably groaning out loud and asking, Mavri, why are you watching this train wreck for this season, right? And to be honest, I was very conflicted on whether or not I want to continue on this series as well. But at the end of the day, I feel like I still believe in the potential that this series has. I actually really like the world that they have built here. If you guys also look into the other supplementary information on the Twitter, on the website and whatnot, it's actually a really in-depth world. The author is doing a lot of world building. I feel like, however, he's going in a little bit too much over his head. He's trying to basically cram a light novel's worth of world building and stuff into an anime without even actually writing the light novel first, right? So, it definitely has a lot of pacing issues and world building issues where things aren't quite explained properly. Hopefully this season of rest that they had is going to fix these problems. Now, this is not actually a second season of this. It only has one season. It's just divided into two cores, two different parts. And so now, after a season of rest, we are watching the second part of it. Beyond that, one thing I really like about this series actually is the music, which is being composed by the musical group No Name. The ending song for the original Fairy Gone season 2 seasons ago. The ending song to it is still probably my favorite ending song of that season, even more so than other series such as Shield Hero and etc. etc. So I do hope that this season of Rest helped them fix some of their issues, both in regards to animation quality, both in regards to the pacing and whatnot. Hopefully they can keep up their good fight scenes and the good use of music and whatnot, and just prove the naysayers wrong. And so there we go. Those are the anime that I've chosen to watch that are in season for the next season, right? Beyond those, there's actually a few more that I have my eyes on, but I'm not quite convinced that I'm going to be watching them. First up on the list is actually Beastars, which the reason that it's on the list is because the original work that it was adapted from is quite actually critically acclaimed. The thing about it though is, number one, it's in pure CGI. I took a look at the first episode because they actually put it on YouTube, I believe about 10 minutes or so. I'm not entirely convinced that it's going to look very good. It's okay to me. It's just okay, right? But perhaps the more bigger factor to this is the fact that, at the end of the day, we're watching a bunch of, lions and wolves and whatnot, anthropomorphic characters talking to each other, and apparently it's more of a slice of life kind of thing, right? I kind of feel like I can't take it seriously just by looking at the characters on screen, so I don't know. I'm still holding on this one, though I think that it's going to be a good series story-wise. Not really sure if I'm feeling down for it at the end of the day. The second one is the series called Choyoyu, or I believe the official or semi-official English translation of it is High School Prodigies Have It Easy Even in Another World. Super long, as the title implies. It's an isekai, and I was a bit intrigued by the story, right? Because it's basically there's basically 7 main characters, and each of them are top of their field in a certain area. And apparently the series itself, it has more to deal with political intrigue than actually action. Now, the thing about this, though, is I actually went back and, looked up some review of the light novel that it was based on, and apparently even though they try to do a lot of, it's not entirely action-based, there's a lot of stuff where you need to basically shut off your brain in order to accept. Apparently the author was not really intending this to be a serious series while she was writing it, and so on that note, I thought that I would just skip it for now in case it actually does suck, right? And lastly, the last one that I'm also eyeing for this season would be Houkago Saikoro Club, which is an after-school board game club. It's basically a slice of life, cute girls doing cute things, but it's centered around board games, right? It's kind of an intriguing topic for me, but again, I'm not really sure how good the actual anime is going to be. So perhaps it's just going to be something that I watch on my own time, and I'm not going to be bothering making a video for it. So those were the ones that are coming up for next season. Now let's get into the part with the non-seasonal anime. And so to start off the non-seasonal anime list, the first one would be A Place Further Than the Universe. I'll be watching this after I finish my Your Lie in April series, which also kind of makes sense since this was the runner-up in the poll we did at the beginning of last season. The one that won was Your Lie in April. The one that came in second place was A Place Further Than the Universe. And personally, I really want to watch this as well. I want something a bit more lighthearted for next season to sort of balance things out. And so it seems to be a perfect time to watch this series. Not much else to say there since this is an old anime, but I am definitely looking forward to this one. Next up on the list is Bakemonogatari. And yes, indeed, I have decided to take the dive into the Monogatari series, as I've been saying that I would do for the past 2 seasons already, right? A lot of people have been telling me to just go watch Monogatari, and I've been putting it off because I know it's a long series, and once I get involved, I'm gonna want to watch the entire thing to the end, right? So I wanted to make sure that I could start off on a good foot. But yes, indeed, I've seen lots of clips of this. I've heard lots of songs from this, and I've heard nothing but good things from this. And I am really, really, really looking forward to this. Even though, you know, up to this day, I still have no idea what the series is actually about. But, well, I think it's going to be a wild ride, and hopefully it's going to be fun for both me and for you guys as well. So there we have it. Those are all the anime that I have already set in stone and scheduled for the next season. Now, in the sort of downtime between this season and the next one, if I do have the time, I will also be watching a few movies. I'm already slated to watch the Yujo Senki movie, probably sometime later this week, and if I can fit into time, maybe potentially another movie as well. Beyond that, there's actually a slot for one last anime in my schedule for next season, and that will be decided by you guys. So, similar to last season, I will be opening a voting poll. Down in the description below is where you can find it, and you can just simply choose from the list of what anime you would like me to watch next. The list consists of those anime in my backlog, including anime that has been recommended to me by you guys, and as well as my personal, my personal backlog as well, stuff that I want to watch that I haven't had the time to get to. So each person will have up to 3 votes, so you can spread them out, or you can just concentrate on one. If you have like your one true love, your one true anime that you want me to watch. Code GOSS is omitted from the poll as per last season as well, since I don't think I really have the time to start another, more large scale series such as Code GOSS. But yeah. So just get your votes in. I'll probably be opening it for around a week and then give 1 or 2 days of buffering. So closing it sometime on October 9th, right? But in any case, if you do want to vote in it, just go vote right now and be done with it, right? And you don't have to worry about deadlines or anything. So there we have it, and as usual, if you have any other sort of suggestions or ideas for me, whether or not you like this format, or if there's anything that can be improved on this format, or my usual videos as well, or maybe you think my selection for next season sucks and you want to tell me that's fine, right? Just be civil about it. I'm always open for discussion. So there we have it, and hopefully you guys will be able to vote for in an anime that you enjoy and I will enjoy as well. So that's that. Remember to vote. See you guys, and bye bye.